Hey you guys, welcome back to Seed and Sparrow Homestead. My name is Kelsey if you are new here. Today is the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. This video will probably drop on Black Friday, so I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. It's gonna be a pretty short and sweet video. I have not been feeling well, and I've just been allowing my body to rest and fight off whatever is going on because I want to be well enough to enjoy Thanksgiving with my family. So needless to say, I am behind on a lot of things I need to get done. So I am just going to be sharing some recipes with you guys. One is a bread recipe and the other one is a chowder recipe I came up with a few weeks back, and I think it'll be a great way to use up any leftover ham from Thanksgiving if you prepare ham. We do. And also you can throw in any extra corn. So great way to use up some Thanksgiving leftovers. And for the bread recipe, I am referring to Jill Winger's The Prairie Homestead Cookbook. This is one of my favorite cookbooks. She has awesome recipes, all really whole food centered, super hearty and comfort food recipes. And then if you're into homesteading, it's more than just cooking food. There's a lot of how-tos and resources, wisdom and knowledge that she shares with us. So definitely check it out. I will link it below in the description. But I am using her maple oat sandwich loaf recipe in this video. It's a favorite of our families. I always make sure to have multiple loaves in the freezer on standby, especially this time of year when I am making all of the soups and stews and chowders. In this household, we always have some sort of bread to go along with those types of meals. So I hope you enjoy today's recipes, and without further ado, let's start cooking. We are going to start off with our bread recipe so that it can get rising while we make our chowder. So for this recipe, you are going to need 1 cup of rolled oats, about a tablespoon of honey, and then I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of melted butter. Butter is something I always try and source grass-fed butter when I can. It is more expensive, but I find it makes all the difference when baking and cooking. There's just such a rich, deeper flavor to a grass-fed butter. I like to use Kerrygold. And then I'm also putting in a 1/2 cup of maple syrup. And you want to use pure maple syrup, not any sort of table syrup. And then 2½ teaspoons of salt. I use a Redmond's real salt. It's rich in minerals and so much better for you than your typical table salt. And 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Last, you need 2 cups of boiling water, and you're going to let this all sit for about 15 minutes. I do give it a good stir. After 15 minutes, add 1 tablespoon of active dry yeast. Next, we're going to gradually add our flour. The recipe says you can use up to 5½ cups of flour. I think I used 5. You don't want to add too much flour. Your bread can become really dry. So I like to add flour just until it comes together and it's not super sticky anymore. I will allow my dough hook on the KitchenAid to mix this up for as long as it can. My KitchenAid mixer is getting pretty old in age and the motor just can't keep up anymore, and this is a pretty dense dough. So I will let it go as long as it can, and then I will knead it by hand for another good 5 minutes. And then we're going to transfer the dough ball into a nice oiled dish, cover with a towel, and then allow it to rise until it's doubled, about 1 hour. While we wait for our bread to rise, I'm going to get started on the chowder. I am using 6 slices of bacon that I have chopped up and frying that up in my pan. Once that gets all nice and fried up, I remove it, but I allow the bacon drippings to remain. We're going to fry up some potatoes in there. I used about 4 or 5 medium to large potatoes, diced them up. Right now we are not cooking them. I just wanted to get them nice and crispy and brown. Next, I am adding in some flour, about 4 to 5 tablespoons worth. This is how we are going to start to achieve that chowder-like consistency, that rich, thick, creamy goodness. Go ahead and stir it all up and let it cook for about a minute. And then to achieve a good consistency, you want to gradually add your liquid. I am using 2 cups of chicken broth here. We need 4 cups total. I'm just using the 2 cups now. Add it gradually or else you're going to end up with clumps of flour and it's not going to get really nice and thick. By adding it gradually, you're allowing the flour to soak up all of the liquid each time. You should end up with a consistency like this with the 2 cups of broth. Now I'm just adding it into my stock pot, and there was already another 2 cups of broth in there. So I'm just mixing that all together. I'm going to get this boiling, bring it down to a simmer, and wait until my potatoes are fork tender. Once they were ready, I went ahead and added my other ingredients. I have 1 can of home canned corn. Any can of corn will do. And I had about 2 cups of ham off the bone, but you can use whatever ham you have. I just shredded it up by hand. Added in about a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, a tablespoon's worth of parsley, and around 3/4 of a cup of heavy cream. Stir that all up, and I allowed that to simmer for a good while so all of the flavors had time to mingle. Now, you can most definitely add in garlic or onions at any time during this recipe. It'd be really good to cook onions with potatoes when they were frying in the pan. I unfortunately cannot eat either of those ingredients. I omit them from most every recipe, so keep that in mind if you're watching my recipes. Totally add in that onion and garlic if you desire. The bread is ready, so I went ahead and split it in 2. The recipe is enough for 2 loaves. Got them into somewhat of a loaf shape and transferred them to 2 greased loaf pans. And you're going to want to cover and allow them to rise. It really just depends on the temperature of your home, but I like to make sure they're at least risen to the top of the loaf pans. They don't rise too much more than that after you put them in the oven. It took about 1.5 hours for them to rise. Once ready, they go in the oven for 35 to 40 minutes. Just until nice and golden brown. If they start to get too brown, you can always throw some foil on top. My secret to every bread recipe is adding melted butter to the top. It makes a world of difference. It's honestly amazing. If you don't do it, you need to start. After 5 minutes, I make sure to flip them out onto a cooling rack. Otherwise, they start to get like condensation down inside and you end up with a soggy bottom of your bread, and that's not very yummy. So definitely make sure to transfer them out. Here they are in all of their glory. They are wonderful. They smell amazing. They keep so well in the fridge, super easy to slice, so great for sandwich bread. You can make them into buns or rolls, whatever your heart's desire. It's a really versatile recipe. Here is our hearty chowder all ready to go. I chose to add some shredded cheese, some crumbled up crackers, and of course that bacon we fried up in the beginning. You guys, this was so good. My family raved over it. I have 2 small children and they ate up all that I gave them and asked for seconds. I really hope you guys enjoy this recipe. Let me know down in the comments if you try it and how you liked it. Thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I will catch you in the next one.